yatarham upayunjataha, that vishaya, that everything, because there's so much vishaya, there are so many objects within our life. We have our home, we have our possessions, we have our clothes, we have our family, we have our friends, we have so many different vishayas or objects. So anasaktasya, one should utilize these things, but in a detached way. So how do we become detached? Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe. That nirbandha, this detachment, will be realized by Krishna Sambandha. By being attached to Krishna, by somehow or another using everything in Krishna's service. But you can't just do it in any old way. Yukta Vairagya, this is called Yukta Vairagya. So sometimes we use Yukta Vairagya as an excuse to try to enjoy something within this material world. Yes, everything, I'm going to use everything in Krishna's service. But how do we do it? Yatarham upayunjataha. With very careful discrimination. We have to develop very careful discrimination. Otherwise, we have to always be looking for that line between using something for Krishna and using Krishna as the excuse for enjoying something over in this world. It's a very fine line sometimes. Very fine line. We have to really be careful to utilize everything in Krishna's service. Very careful. So, that requires to be able to use things in Krishna's service and not just very cheaply or superficially call ourselves Vaishnavas or devotees when we're really not on that platform, is sadhana bhakti. And everybody has to perform sadhana bhakti. Sadhana bhakti is not just for brahmacharis and sannyasis and vanaprasthas. But sadhana bhakti, as Srila Prabhupada said in a lecture in 1968, sadhana bhakti is especially for grihastha. Of course, many of us have heard, maybe not everybody's heard, but certainly most of us have heard that there's many Vaishnava groups that chant like 4 rounds. So one may ask, where does this idea of 4 rounds come from? Very interesting, because Srila Prabhupada in that same lecture, he indirectly speaks about it. He says that grihasthas, it is essential for grihasthas to chant minimum 16 rounds. He said, because in grihastha ashram, one is confronted with so many different temptations. And therefore, they must very carefully chant. So what does that mean? Does that mean the brahmacharis don't chant? Yeah. What it means is, the way this whole thing about 4 rounds came about is that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was so anxious to spread the Krishna conscious movement that sometimes he gave the brahmacharis so much service that on one particular day they may not be able to chant their 16 rounds. Not that every day they don't chant, but some day or during some festival they may not be able to chant 16 rounds. But what does Rupa Goswami say if you don't chant 16 rounds, whatever you're prescribed number in the nectar of devotion? Anyone remember? You have to make it up the next day. It's not that you just always chant 4 rounds. This was never anybody's policy. Somehow or another, nowadays some Vaishnavas are doing it, that they come to this standard. But this was not the standard. And if it was ever the standard, it was only for brahmacharis who are fully engaged all day long, cooking, cleaning, preaching, doing so many things in the temple or for the deity or for the preaching mission that there was no time to finish their round. And even then they were supposed to make it up the next day. So this is what it means. And nowadays, people think, well, why should I stay in this kind when they require 16 rounds? Let me go over here. 4 rounds, do the best you can. 4 rounds and do the best you can on the principle. So this is not Rupa Goswami's indication. Rupa Goswami's indication, as everyone will see, as those of you who are going to methodically and systematically study the nectar of devotion, that Rupa Goswami's understanding of sadhana is impeccable. And practically none of us come to that standard. The standard that he sets in nectar devotion, the standard that he sets in nectar of instruction, the standard of that Sanatana Goswami describes in his Hari Bhakti Vilas is so rigid that practically there's no time for anything except just serving Krishna. Because that's what they did. Actually, these books are meant to bring us to the platform of living in the holy Dham, whether it be Vrindavan, Mayapur, New Vrindavan, any holy Dham. Live in the Dham and perform pure devotional service. This is the objective. This is what we want to do when we study nectar of devotion. We want to come to the platform of pure devotional service. Life after life. And so Srila Prabhupada says that this is called Bhakti Rasa. That's Bhakti Rasa means that one is fully conscious that the only objective in life is to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And ultimately, that worship takes the form of pure devotion in the mood of Vrindavan. And pure devotion in the mood of Vrindavan is, just like in the case of Yashoda Mai and Nanda Maharaj, that they're telling Krishna what to do. This is the nature of rasa. That by the very nature of rasa, Krishna becomes the servant and the devotee becomes the servant. That actually Krishna is always serving us at any point in time, at any moment. Krishna is serving us. He's giving it, even in the material platform, by his arrangement, Maya Dakshina Prakriti Suyate Sandasa Characharam. He is supervising material nature. So we have food, we have sunshine, rain, and all of these things necessary to give us the basic ingredients for living our external lives. And Krishna is giving us all these things. And what to speak of spiritual knowledge, Krishna speaks Bhagavad Gita. He comes, he engages in the battle of Kurukshetra, he becomes the servant of his devotee by driving his chariot. So that means that to drive this chariot or to maintain this material body, one has to depend on Krishna. And at the same time, of course, a devotee by nature does not want to depend on Krishna in the sense of, yes, I want Krishna's instructions, I want Krishna's service, but I don't want to act in such a way that I will oblige Krishna to do something for me. Whereas the neophyte devotee thinks that Krishna owes them something, that Krishna is not doing enough for him. Krishna should be doing a little more. I'm a nice person, I'm a nice devotee. Why is Krishna not doing what he's supposed to be doing for him? So this is the nature of this world. It turns everything around. By worshipping the secondary cause, that by serving the secondary cause, Maya, or different manifestations of Maya's outreach to try to contain us within the material atmosphere, that one thinks that Krishna owes me more. And the pure devotee thinks that I can never repay Krishna. This is the nature of pure devotion. That I can never pay Krishna. I can never fully satisfy Krishna because he's unlimited. I can only try to serve him with all my heart, and 24 hours a day, and as much as possible, and as best as possible. So this is also the purpose of the nectar of devotion. I was just trying to think of one other point here.